going to do a very brief conversation about how to choose your topic for your first paper. And this is an expository paper, an informative paper. It essentially is intended to tell a story, but to finish with some kind of you're going to try to make a point. You're going to try to bring it in for a landing, if you will. We'll talk a little bit more about that in future lessons. But the first thing to do here is to pick a topic that can give you the greatest opportunity for success. And a lot of times, this is where a lot of students kind of swing and miss. And so we're going to go through 4 basic steps on how to pick a topic for this paper that has the greatest chance to allow you to then create a successful paper. Okay, so here are my suggestions for 4 steps to follow to select a topic that will allow you to then follow the other steps in writing your first paper for this class with the highest opportunity for success. First of all, pick something you know, but be careful about that decision. I say pick something you know because it's helpful to get into your research with a little bit of a head start. However, too often students will pick something they know and think they know everything about it and then forget to do or choose not to do adequate research, and they just basically write what they think they already know about the topic. And so do not make that mistake. Whatever it is you pick, if you think you know everything about it, first, you're wrong. Second, that's not the point here. The point here is to pick something that you can then add to by conducting research and organizing a paper that adds to not only the knowledge of the reader, but your own knowledge. If you find this challenging, pick something that you're just interested in that you maybe don't know a lot about. That's fine too. Just don't fall into the trap of picking something that is beyond the scope of what we're talking about here. And I'm going to mention what I'm talking about with the other 3 steps here in just a moment. But again, don't just assume that you already know everything about a subject and that's enough. Second, it needs to be specific enough that you can pin down the information that you want to provide. You can't just say, I'm going to write about the internet, or I'm going to write about climate change, or I'm going to write about politics. That's way too broad and you'll never get there. Get down into a more specific idea. I'm going to write about not the internet, but how students at College of Eastern Idaho use TikTok. That might be a little too much research for you to do because it would require your own research, but you get the idea. Get it down into a more specific topical area so that it just isn't so broad that it becomes meaningless. That said, it needs to be something of general interest. So you probably don't want to do something about how to shoe a horse, or something that has a very, very narrow audience. Pick something that is specific enough to get into and be meaningful about, but has enough broad interest to be of interest to pretty much anyone who would come across your paper. And finally, you need to make sure that it's something for which there is available research out there. And that's why when I talked about doing something about CEI students, well, no one has done that research yet. So pick something. What you might do, for example, is look for whether there is existing research on how young people in a certain place or people of a certain age group, let's say you're looking at 16 to 24-year-olds and their use of TikTok. Well, there's probably research out there on that topic, and so then you can write about that, use the research, and then expand on it and come to some conclusions. But at this stage, you don't want to be going out and doing your own, what we call primary research. I did that for my thesis in graduate school, and for those who have a PhD, they do a whole dissertation that is mostly their own research. We're not at that level here. Let's not overreach. Let's use research that's already been done. So those are the 4 steps that you should follow when you're deciding what topic to write about on your expository paper.